I'm gonna show you the fastest way to increase your credit score in under 3 minutes with no hard inquiry. Everyone's on the hunt for the fastest way to increase their credit score. So guess what? You did come to the right place. So in today's episode, I'm gonna break down the fastest way to increase your credit score in under 3 minutes. That's gonna be part one. Part two, I'm gonna give you some extra tips on different products that you can use to help increase your credit score and build up that positive payment history, because positive payment history is one of the #1 determining factors that can help you increase your credit score. And it all comes back down to the basics, understanding exactly how to manipulate your credit score, because everyone tells you you could do this, you could do that, but they never really explain why and how it happened. I know there are a lot of people out there that say, I already know the 5 factors, Mike. We don't need that recap. Well, guess what? There are a lot of people that don't. So let's just do a quick recap, because I really truly want you to fully understand how to take control of your credit score, because that's the most important part of being in the credit game. Number 1 is payment history. Payment history makes up 35% of your credit score. Number 2 is credit utilization, otherwise known as the balances owed on your credit cards, makes up 30% of your credit score. Number 3 is credit age, that makes up 15% of your credit score. Number 4 is credit mix, that makes up 10% of your credit score. And number 5 is hard inquiries or new credit, that makes up 10% of your credit score. On today's video, we are going to focus on the 2 biggest determining factors of your credit score, which is payment history and utilization. So let's jump right into it. Nobody truly understands or really talks about the fact that it's very important to request a credit limit increase on your credit card at least once every 6 months, or at minimum once a year. You can simply go into your credit card app for all of the following banks: American Express, Chase Bank, Capital One, the Apple credit card, any Goldman Sachs credit card, Navy Federal, Citibank, Synchrony Bank credit cards, all those store credit cards that you have that have the Synchrony Bank logo on them, and Discover Bank. You can request a credit limit increase inside of their app with no hard inquiry. But do not, and I repeat, do not call the number on the back of the actual credit card and ask to speak to a representative to get them to give you a credit limit increase over the phone. That will cause you to get a hard inquiry. Do it inside the app. There's no hard inquiry. It's super important and vital to your success in credit to do this every year at minimum, because it's the biggest mistake that people make. They're using their credit cards, they're paying them off, and then they don't request a credit limit increase. Now, naturally, sometimes some banks will automatically give it to you, which is great. They're showing you that they really trust you with their money, but sometimes you may fall in between the cracks. Maybe you're not using your credit card enough. Maybe you're just not using your credit card, period, and the bank is not incentivized to give you a credit limit increase. So you have to go into the app and request it. Now, before you come into the comments and say, oh my God, I was declined, what do I do? Look at the reason as to why you were declined and then work on it, because every time you get declined for a credit card or a credit limit increase, they're going to send you a letter in the mail to let you know why they declined you, because it's actually a law that they have to abide by. They have to tell you the reason why they declined you. So look at the reason, fix it, and then come back and reapply for a credit limit increase in 6 more months. And one of my biggest reasons why I love American Express, because if you have a credit card with them that has a credit limit increase on it, you can request a credit limit increase inside of the chat bot. All you have to do is go into the little chat friend that you have inside of the American Express app and type in credit limit increase. And then it's going to ask you what credit card you would like to do it for. And then it's going to ask you how much would you like. So let's say, for instance, if you have a $10,000 credit limit already, ask them to give you a $30,000 credit limit, 3 times your current limit. And I'm going to be honest with you, it happens more than 90% of the time people get accepted for it. And remember, the reason why we're doing this is because we want to attack our utilization. If you raise your credit limit, that's going to lower your utilization if you're ever carrying a balance or if you're currently carrying a balance, because utilization makes up 30% of your credit score. Raising that credit limit is going to be super helpful to anybody's credit profile. And then when you go apply for another credit card, you don't have a low limit credit card on it. You've been working on to raise those credit limits, so when you move on to another credit card, that new bank is going to be incentivized to give you a higher limit because they can see it on your credit report that you already have the experience of handling high limit credit cards. I want to give a special shout out to all my beasters out there that are working hard to fix their credit using Dispute Beast, the most advanced AI credit repair software ever created. But specifically, I want to give a shout out to Matthew. Matthew's credit score went up 285 points after one round with Dispute Beast. And Maurice's credit score went up 237 points after one round with Dispute Beast also. But let's not forget Shakia. Shakia's credit score went up 215 points after just one round with Dispute Beast also. Now, Dispute Beast link is going to be in the video description and pinned at the top of the comments for anyone that needs to fix their credit. But I will warn you, if you're carrying high utilization, i.e. high balances on your credit card, you may potentially get declined for this credit limit increase. Because you have to think about it logically. Why would a bank want to give me more money if I owe them a bunch of money? And it's always going to be dependent on your relationship also. If you're really fresh and you've been carrying a balance for a long time, there's a higher chance that you're going to get declined for a credit limit increase. But if you've been with them for a longer time and you haven't been carrying a high balance with them for a long time, then you have a higher chance that you'll get approved. But everyone's situation is going to be different. It's going to vary from person to person for every different credit profile and every different relationship with every credit card. Now, my next two things that I'm going to talk about are going to cover payment history because payment history makes up 35% of your credit score. And both of these items are going to attack it and inject positive payment history into your credit profile. And that's what we want. As of the year 2023, there are officially over 109 million renters across the United States. And all of those renters are most likely not reporting their rental payments on their credit reports because guess what? None of those rental companies do it for you. But guess what? You can actually do it on your own. Last part's the most important. There is a company called Boom, and Boom specializes in rent reporting. They report to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, and they only report positive payment history. So if for whatever reason you're late on your rental payment, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be affected negatively on your credit report because I've heard through the grapevine that there are apps that will report you late, but guess what? Boom Report is not one of them. Boom Report is a whopping $3 a month, or you can be billed one time annually for $36, which I believe is beyond affordable. And no, there is no hard inquiry. They're not going to check your credit. It's not necessary because you're trying to build credit with them. Now, the best part about Boom that I love is if you've been somewhere for more than 2 years, maybe 3 years, Boom Report is one of the very few reporting places that will actually report your previous 12 months of positive payment history at that rental property. And then they'll report the upcoming 12 months. So you could potentially be looking at 36 months of positive payment history that's injected into your credit profile within the same year, which is super impactful. And the big question is, if you move, what happens? If you move, that's okay. They'll start reporting your rent from a new property until your term is ended or you decide to renew it. Now, Boom will accept Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, checks, ACH, property management portals, and more. So just check with them. They have a little chat bot in case you don't see it on the list and you're wondering. But of course, it's not going to accept cash, money orders, or cashier's checks because there's really no way to verify them. Now, I heard some people talking some nonsense that when you report your rent, it can hurt you if you're trying to apply for a mortgage. That's completely false. So no, it does not hurt your debt to income ratio if you're going to apply for a mortgage because it's a rental property. It's not like debt, like an installment loan that's a massive car payment or a massive mortgage. So no, it doesn't affect your debt to income ratio whatsoever. And when people say that, I'm like, they just really truly don't understand the 5 factors of credit, because remember, the 5 factors of credit are not your debt to income ratio. It's your utilization only from your credit cards. There's no debt to income on the 5 factors. We just covered that. Link is gonna be in the video description for Boom for anyone that needs it. And I have a bonus for you. My bonus that a lot of people sleep on is secured loans. If you've got money just sitting in a bank doing absolutely nothing because you're just hoarding it for whatever reason, guess what? Put that money into a secured loan with a big credit union. Now, some banks may do this, but it's not as powerful as it is with a credit union, because you're doing 2 things with a credit union. You're building that positive payment history on your credit reports once that secured loan reports, and then you're also building a relationship and making it stronger with the credit union. Anytime you do a secured loan, you want to do a minimum of 24 months. Anything less is not worth it because we want to add as much positive payment history as we possibly can. Because remember, every time you open up a new credit product or add a new line of credit to your credit profile, it's reducing your average age of credit. So if we're going to reduce our average age of credit, we have to make it worth our effort. So extending it to those minimum 24 months is the sweet spot for you to help build your credit profile and build up that credit score. And as a great example, you want to buy a car. Guess what? You have no experience on vehicles. You've never purchased one, so there's not one on your credit report. If you have installment loans on your credit profile, that shows that you pay on time and that banks have trusted you because you backed the money and you paid it back. It's really just that simple. And there is one credit builder that a lot of people don't talk about, which is KOVO. KOVO is one of the most powerful installment credit builders that a lot of people don't know about. KOVO is going to help you build credit by reporting on-time payments every single month for a term of 24 months. And it's not going to break the bank either. And there's also no hard inquiry. It's instant approval. And it's going to report to all 3 credit reporting agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, and a 4th one, Enovis. Because Enovis is a new emerging credit reporting agency that's being more commonly used that a lot of people don't talk about either. And my favorite part about KOVO, it's definitely affordable in my opinion because it's a whopping $10 a month for 24 months. You're looking at a maximum capacity of $240 once you're done at the very end of it. And if you want to, you could do another one, and guess what? It'll help continue to build up your credit profile because that positive payment history is impactful and so are installment loans. Link is going to be in the video description for anyone that would like to use KOVO. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We covered another big one on how to increase your credit score the fastest. Now make sure that you watch this next video because it is about a breaking story that a lot of people are not talking about with Navy Federal. And if you felt that I brought you some value in this video, make sure that you don't forget and subscribe to increase your credit score.